Let's open Seeds, Database Seeder, and for now we don't need to call other seed, so just remove it. And here let's do the same thing as we did in Thinker. So factory pass the user class in the first parameter, and specify the number of data that will be created, in this case 3, and end with create method call. Okay. Now here we also need to create some fake questions, right? If you try to do like so, factory question, let's say 10. So if you do like this, then you are wrong. It would be failed because if you remember, a question has to be linked to a particular user, as we see in migration in this table schema. We have defined foreign key user ID that reference ID on user's table. So in this case, we need to create one or more questions for each user that will be created. And we can do that by simply, I'll remove this, and we can simply chaining after create method call with each method calling, and pass in a callback or anonymous function. So this means that each time a user created will do something else. What we will do here is creating some fake questions for that user. So I'll put this. So let's define an argument in this callback to represent a single user. Here I'll call you, then get all questions of the user, like so, as we define in user, like this. So here, and since we want to create more than one questions, we can call save many, and here we simply call another factory helper function, factory, pass in the question class, and we'll generate 1 to 5 questions randomly. And finally, we call make method, not create method in this case, because create method will insert records to database, while make method will generate objects and store it in memory. Alright, before we moving on, I realized that actually I made mistake in question model. So I'll open it up. And here, in this user method relationship, this should be belongs to. Save all changes. Back to our terminal. Here I'll quit from Thinker. And here we can simply type php artisan migrate :fresh to drop all tables in the database and then rerun all migrations. This is because we have created some users in Thinker before, and we'll make sure that we have fresh database before actually run our seed. And finally, we add --seed to run our seed after database migration successfully run. Oops. Question doesn't exist. Let me see. Okay, this should be questions. Yes, here. So here, questions. Save that. And let's run migration fresh seed again. Oh, still error. Now what? Slug doesn't have default value. Let me see in question. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. This should be defined in question model, of course. So I'll cut that and paste in here. Save. Let me run migrate fresh seed again. Okay, let me see in phpMyAdmin. Here I have 3 users. And 9 questions. The total records in this table might be different with yours because in the seed we call phprandom function, so it's no problem in this case. Okay, great. Let's save our work to our Git repo. Git add all, and then git commit -m, and I'll say pre-populate users and questions table using model factories and seed. Here I'll push the current branch to my remote repo. Git push origin lesson 3. You probably don't have to push your all branches to remote repo, but I'll do this so that you can see my work. So just in case you face any error when you follow a particular lesson, then you can compare your work with mine. Now let's switch to our master branch. Git checkout master, and then merge to our lesson 3 branch. Git merge lesson 3. Okay, now let's push our master branch to our remote repo. Git push origin master. Alright, so now that we have some records in our users and questions table, in the next lesson we'll be building new feature that is displaying all questions from our database to our application view. Okay, I'll see you in the next lesson.